Hello and welcome to WGF News. Today we are looking at our top story, the Dissolution of the Monasteries. Now handing over to our top correspondent, Nicholas Townsend. Over to you, Nicholas.
Hi there, thank you very much, Herbie. So as you can see, we are in 1536 in this barren landscape around us. So, at the moment, Thomas Cromwell has sent out a load of men around the land to survey all the nunneries and monasteries. We do not know much about this, so we're going to be speaking to Robert Bob, who's going to be telling us more about this story. Over to you, Bob.
Thank you, Nicholas, for your time, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the main motives of Thomas Cromwell. One of his main motives is for our surveymen to find out monasteries that have land around them which they rent out. And another one of his motives is for us surveymen to find the corrupt monasteries around England. Thank you, Nicholas, for your time, and that is all I'm going to say.
So, it's now a year and a half later since we've spoken to Bobby, and we just had a report in called the Vala Excuviatha, which you can have a look at here. I got it on the notepad. Have you got that yet?
Yeah.
Yes, you got that. Very good. So, basically, what this is for our surveymen, they put together a report that shows us what's really going on behind those closed doors of the monasteries. So far, what we have found is that lots of the smaller monasteries with less than 16 monks and bringing in £200 a year are very corrupt. Like, very corrupt. So, what can we bring from this? Find out, we're turning to Herbie.
An act has been passed in the previous month known as the suppression of the monasteries, which has suppressed the smaller monasteries which earn under £200 a year. I now have the opportunity to talk to one of the monks whose monasteries has just been closed down, named Father Jeremy. Feel about the closure of your monastery.
I am not happy at all. How can such a horrible person come and close down such a sweet little monastery? I am so disappointed. On the bright side, though, they did have some mercy, and they gave lots of the older people in the camp, in the monasteries even, some money, so a pension of some sort, so they can live a nice life.
So Father Jeremy, what are you going to do with the rest of your life and your working career?
Well, I think I'll go to the bigger monasteries. I think that is a very good place for me to go now. They can't close down them as big as that, but the problem is lots of my friends aren't coming with me. Lots of the other monks are going to places like to get married, and yes, I'm very disappointed about what they have done.
Well, thank you, Father Jeremy. And now we're going to go back to the studio.
Hello, so now back at the studio, we're going to be talking about the second act of the dissolution, which has just come through now. It was in 1539, and the act allowed the closure of larger monasteries. This means that there are no more monasteries left because there's only smaller and larger, they're not huge. So there's only now actually two, so that means now, after they've closed all these monasteries down, there won't be any monasteries left, which is quite astonishing, bearing in mind that there are 136 nunneries and 186 friaries. So this is quite a big thing. Over to you, Herbie.
Thank you, Nicholas. This is really a great change in the world we live in. There used to be over 774 places where friars, nunneries and monks could live. Now there are none. This has left many people, like Father Jeremy, who we spoke to last year, homeless and with nothing to do in their life. This is now going to change the lives of many others, as churches used to care for the sick, the poor and the homeless. Now we are going to talk to Father Jeremy again, as we did last time, after the small monasteries closed. Over to you, Jeremy. So how do you feel about this situation at the moment?
I'm very sad. There is nowhere for me to worship other than the churches.
So what do you expect you and your friends will do with your life now?
I don't know. I'm probably going to live in a hole.
Do you still have your faith in God?
Yes, I'm going to live in a hole.
Okay, that's a rather big turn of events, and now we're going to go back to the studio.
Hello and welcome back. So during these very difficult times of the monastery's closure, I'm talking to Thomas Cromwell, who appears to be the one who's doing all of this. So Thomas Cromwell, would you care to tell me about the survey? What happened there? Were you behind all of this?
Yes, I sent out my surveymen to find out about the corrupt monasteries and the monasteries' money.
What were your hopes with this? Why were you trying to get with it?
I was hoping to claim the land and close down the corrupt monasteries.
Oh, but it turns out here that you've closed all the monasteries.
Yes, that also was one of my plans.
Was this to do with, as you said, were there any other reasons? Was it more that you wanted to make the country more Protestant? Was it because you wanted the money? What was it all about?
Mostly for the money, but also for a Protestant England.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hello and welcome back to WGF News. Today we are going to be interviewing Robert Ask. So Robert, what is your occupation?
Well, you see, I am the leader of the Pilgrimage of Grace, yes. Previously I was a lawyer in Yorkshire, if you were wondering.
Okay, thank you. And do you have a role in the dissolution?
Well, I don't have anything to do with the king and him and Thomas Cromwell shutting down everything, but yes, as I said, I am the leader of the Pilgrimage of Grace.
So you don't agree with the dissolution?
Well, you see, I wouldn't mind it if they were shutting down these corrupt monasteries, because they should be shut down, but I don't agree with them shutting down all of them. That's 774 monasteries, nunneries and friaries closed. That should not be allowed. They care for the homeless, the poor, and they feed people, and to now shut them down means that there is nobody to help them.
You mentioned earlier that you are the leader of the Pilgrimage of the Rebellion
Yes.
of the Pilgrimage of Grace. What quite is the Pilgrimage of Grace?
Well, I can't believe you don't know this. It's a rebellion. Well, it's quite a good rebellion, might I say myself. And we are currently going. The reason it's called the Pilgrimage of Grace is because we are going on a pilgrimage from up north downwards.
Okay, that's thank you for your time, Robert. And
Before we go, I would like to, because we're being broadcast, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to make a message directly to the king at this time, if that's all right. Is that all right with you?
and that's fine as long as it isn't too rude.
Good. So, I bought my computer. I'd just like to make some demands to the king at the moment, because I know like we should be going directly to him, but I think it's good to make demands here and now. So, I would like the return of the Pope's power in England, the removal of Cromwell from power, the immediate stop of the dissolution of the monasteries, because it shouldn't be right that all of them should be closed. Parliament should be called to discuss new laws and look at poverty in the north of England. Princess Mary Tudor should be renamed as the heir of the throne. The punishment for those commissioners responsible for writing bad reports on the monasteries should be punished.
And we've gone quite off topic now, but why do you wish the king to fulfil these wishes?
Well, otherwise we'd kill him. We'd have a complete out rebellion against him. So, you don't really have much choice.
Okay, thank you, Robert, for your time.
Thank you. It's fine. Right, men. Here is our path for where we're going to be walking. So, we walk up here, and then we come down to York, where we're going to be meeting up with some forces, as you can see, quite a sufficient amount of forces. And then we walk down to Doncaster, down here. So from York to Doncaster, all our forces have united. And here, there's a royal force coming from London. We go up against them, and we lose.
Very good plan, sir.
Thank you.
We were planning to have another interview with Robert Ask today, but he has sadly been captured by the royal forces. His army has been defeated, and as a result of this, he is going to be executed. My reasons for this, as I found from many sources, is because of his poor leadership, as he is just a lawyer from Yorkshire and he has no military experience. Also, as he expected his demands to be met quickly and he did not expect a fight. Hello, and today we're going to be talking about the consequences of the Pilgrimage of Grace. One of its consequences is that it sealed the fate of the monasteries in England. The involvement of the monks in the rebellion gave Henry and Cromwell further ammunition and excuse for their continued programme of the dissolution. A council of the north was set up to rule the north of England. No more rebellions took place in Henry's reign. He had dealt with the Pilgrimage of Grace with cunning, deceit, and great brutality. The 200 executions were a warning to those who thought to challenge Henry's authority.
Now we're going to be talking about the 10 Articles of 1536. These were set up by Cromwell. He wanted to make the country more Protestant. He did this, one of the ways he did this was by only recognising 3 sacraments: baptism, penance and urtrist. Catholic sacraments, confirmation, ordination and the last rites continued to be praised, but they were no longer seen as holy. The great many holy days, which are holidays basically, were abolished, so it meant that there were no holidays at all. The English Bible was made available to everybody. It prohibited pilgrimages, so there was no pilgrimages allowed. It ordered the destruction of Thomas Becket's tomb at Canterbury and the destruction of the Shrine of Virgin Mary. Now, Henry didn't really like these sorts of things. He wanted the country to stay more as a Catholic. So in the 6 Articles of 1539, Henry decided he was going to turn things back. So he made the Bible. Now he changed the Bible so it was only available to certain people. It meant that
in the 6 Articles, Henry reversed some of what Cromwell had done, such as
Welcome back. Now we're going to be speaking to Thomas Cromwell, who's been organising all these events for us. So tell us exactly what you organised to start with.
I organised the dissolution of the monasteries. Now I will be interviewing Robert Ask, leader of the Pilgrimage. Hello and welcome back to WE